Welcome everyone, and I am Harshit Srivastav, and he is my friend Anmol Srivastav. So today we are going to have a debate over the topic that should online education be made compulsory for all the students, or the education would be in offline. I am in the favor of the topic that online education must be, made compulsory, and my friend Anmol is against the topic that he favors that offline education is more important than it. So now we will start our debate by myself. So I want to say that online education is the biggest tool that is now being biggest or greater to achieve a good things, to achieve more education, more knowledge in a less amount of time. Because online education have a certain lot of benefits over the offline education. That the introduction of online education is like a boon for our society, which has which has made the offline education for online education has been leaded so far that online education is losing some of the importance by it. So online education is should be made very compulsory.
In my point of view, offline education and online education, they also have their own importance in their own terms. I don't condemn that online education is not good, but online education is good. But I can also say that offline education is also more good. They all have equal importance. We cannot compare with each other. There are certain benefits which online education has, but that benefits are not available for offline education. For example, reduced cost, flexibility, good expertise, and locational advantages, and there are other benefits that are not available in offline education. But I can say that there are other benefits which are also not available in online education. For example, when in offline education, a student comes to attend the classes, lectures, it inculcates a sense of responsibility among them. It also encourages the healthy habits and punctuality. It also makes a proper discipline in their life. And besides this, it also inculcates the sense of friendliness and brotherhood, cooperation among the students. And it also increases the socialism between the students when they meet different people, when they come together, they play different games, they socialize with each other, they make friends, which is also very important, and that benefit is not available in online education. And I can say one thing, that offline education has more benefits, because in offline education, students come to of various community of various religions. They come together and they group together, and they become like a friend, and they act as a brother with each other, and they all, no matter what their caste is, but they live together, and it shows that they are the real brothers, not the persons with a different community, and that is the main reason for a offline.
So I have talked about the sense of responsibility that offline education creates a sense of responsibility. It is good, but I want to say that in online education too, there is a sense of responsibility, and that sense of responsibility is in the form of the deadlines of the assignment. Because for every assignment, you would be able to have a deadline, and on that deadline, before that deadline, you have to submit that assignment. Otherwise, you will be affected by your grade. But when you talk about the offline education, sometimes you ask for your teacher, sir, that I am not able to submit the assignment now. May I submit it 1 or 2 days after the deadline? He may permit you, but online education doesn't permit you. Online education is based on strict rules and set of guidelines that offline educations cannot have. Because in offline education, there is a sense of flexibility, that laws are somewhat flexible according to the instructor and according to the situations.
Okay, I understood your point. You are right in your own sense. But you understand that for having an online education, there should be a proper infrastructure that every student must have. Every student must have computer or laptop. He must have proper internet connections. He must have any other equipment that is necessary for having online education. But what about the people who can't afford such type of infrastructure? What about the poor people? What about the people who are not cannot able, who cannot afford to pay for internet connections and they cannot purchase a laptop? So so how can you think that online education is beneficial for each and every student?
Oh, very good point that you have enhanced about the infrastructure system. I would make you to remember that when you have to go to study in a college, the college works without any infrastructure. There is no any infrastructure inside the college. There is no any computer labs. There is no any buildings. There is no any classrooms in the college. Can college be expected without these things? I think no. So in the same sense, when you are in the offline education, there is a requirement of huge architecture, huge management communities, huge number of class of people which are
I am not talking about the
maintaining.
schools and colleges. I am talking about the students who cannot able to afford such a equipments like laptops, desktop, and computers, etc.
Actually, you cannot say about it because spending money, I mean, in a colleges is far less than spending money to purchase these equipments. And another thing is that you are talking about the time when about the 90s period. But now there is a time that everyone is having the almost everyone is having the internet connection. Almost everyone is having the Android phones. So you cannot say that these infrastructures are very difficult to get accessed. These can be easily get accessed. So I want to say that giving the fees to the college is far more costlier than spending the money to arrange this type of small infrastructure, which requires only mobile phones, computers, laptops, or any connection of internet. So it is far less costlier than this.
No, I understood that for having online education is somewhat less costly because person don't have to pay huge amount of fees to schools and colleges. But what about the curriculum? What about the activities that has been conducted in the schools, colleges? For example, in every colleges, in most of the colleges, there is a separate music classes, and there is separate dance classes. There is a separate playground in which students can take participate, and they can also play different competition levels, state wise, national level or city level. So that facilities are not available in online because you can easily take lessons from online. You can easily take theoretical lessons from online. But what about the practical lessons? For example, if you want to participate in a different competition, then from where you would practice? You cannot practice this on your computer. You have to go to a school. You have to meet with a different person. You have to go to a playground. You have to meet the instructor who can guide you. And for this, you have to go to school and take admission. So that is not available in online.
Actually, a very good point that you have enhanced. I agree with your point that the curriculum activities are impossible in the online education. You are right, but everything has its solution inside itself. That I want to say. Suppose you are saying that there is no provision of the music classes in the online education. You are right, but the person who loves to, I mean, who has an hobby to play something, who has a hobby in singing, who has a hobby in music, he can separately join the music classes anywhere, because in online education there is a less requirement of time. Why? Because the time spent in going to the college and returning to the college and the college schedule is very more than the time spent before the I mean in front of the computer screen, because only 2 hours or 3 hours you have to give a day to take the online lessons to complete your assignment. But for the offline education, you have to spend at least 5 to 6 hours to go in the college, to return back in the college, to take the rest, and lot of situations occur there. So instead of spending a lot of time in going to there, you can be able to join the separate classes for the music, for the sport. You can go for the sport practice in your nearby playground, and lot of things are there.
Hey, okay. I understood that you are saying is quite right. But online education has cannot have as many as advantages as offline education. For example, think about the think about the different teachers who are being employed, who are getting paid for taking different classes, who continue to come to schools and colleges and deliver their lectures to the students and persuade and motivate the students. So they are getting paid for that, and they are both, and they cannot make their both the ends meet by the online education, because in online education they might be getting less paid, but in offline education they are getting more paid because they are doing a full-time job. So that is the main advantage. You cannot ignore it, because it is really common that if a teacher teaches the students in online, like in a YouTube channel or in a Facebook channel or different channels or different social media sites, then it may possible that he is getting less paid by institutions. But if that teacher comes in a school and gives his personal attendance and physical attendance to a college, then he is getting more paid. So that is the main thing.
But actually, I want to say that I think you are really unaware about the people who are doing the job at online teachings, because there are many companies, like I would name some of them, like Byju's.com. Byju's.com is an online learning platform, and whatever instructor is working for, whoever is working for that platform, they are getting a highly paid for a very less amount of time. Because on the online jobs, you have to deliver a lecture for 1 hour or 2 hours, and you have to, besides this, you have to prepare some things before it. I consider this thing, but you have to spend very less time in teaching, and you get a lot of return. You think about the teacher. He goes to college for 6 hours and earn 30 to 40,000 rupees or whatever. I do not think about it. But if you think about the same, that that same instructor is teaching 1 or 2 hours in an online platform, and he is earning 20 to 25,000 rupees in the proportion to that. So you can consider that in giving a less amount of time, the instructors are getting highly paid. And one thing I want to say,
one more thing that I want to that the platforms that you are telling about the Byju's or different platforms like Coursera,
Yes.
and you can say that different online websites and Unacademy. So
Yes.
they employ the teachers to deliver the lectures, and they are also getting good pay for that. But the main thing is that those are the local schools. Those are the local schools. Those are the small schools. They don't deliver the lectures from these networking sites. Means you can simply say that if they comes into an online business, then they might employ the different teachers, local teachers, to deliver the lectures in online. And if they employ their teachers, then they will definitely will pay a less amount of money as compared to other platform. So it is somewhat a disparity. It is an unequality that is shown here, because these platforms are available for those who have a big schools and colleges, big institutions, but those local schools which are